Hey everybody, so look, we all know that specialty sets and booster boxes from the Sword and Shield era, even Scarlet and Violet era, they've all popped off over the past few months. We've seen massive gains on a lot of them, but the really interesting thing is these top four specialty sets over the past couple of years, Crown Zenith 151, Prismatic, and what's the other one I'm forgetting? Paldean Fates, they're still going. We're still seeing gains. They're, incredibly resilient. And I want to cover this in this video because I'm sure there's some cards in here. If you guys haven't paid attention to these over the past couple weeks, there's some cards that have made big moves, and especially the ETBs as well. We need to look at these because some of these price moves, although not very big, are still impressive considering they've already gone through massive price changes over the past 3 to 4 months, and they're still going. We haven't seen a pullback yet. So first one obviously is 151. Again, 230% gain over the past 12 months, sitting around $180. We saw it spike up to about that 170, came back down. Let's do like a 3 month graph here. Came back down to the low 160s. We're already back up to around $180. And you can see today we actually had sales at 185, 183. We had a $200 sale yesterday as well, 183. You have a couple lower ones in here, but this is seemingly going to be a $180 booster box, or excuse me, elite trainer box on TCG Player consistently over the next coming week or so. And some of the top cards, the Charizard, I mean, this thing spiked from $100 up to around $200, and it's just continued to climb. We're now sitting around 250. If you look at most recent sales, you had one at, oh, that's a PSA 9 rather, but you have a couple near mints here, 190, 194, obviously some lower ones at 230 and 247.50, but you do have a couple sales moving into that 260, 270 range, right? So Blastoise, same thing. We saw that pop from around that $78 price point up into the mid 80s at the high. We're now sitting around what, 82-ish. You do have some sales up here, $88. That's actually the most recent sale. 78, almost 79, 85, 88. So actually probably closer to mid 80s, almost high 80s. And Venusaur is not too far behind, basically. Went through the exact same graph, the most recent sales, 85, 85, 81, 85. So yeah, a pretty legit $85 card at this point. Now, Paldean Fates, same thing. This was like a $90 ETB a couple weeks ago, and I kind of figured a lot of these were going to start to flatten out. It's now pushed through to $100, and most recent sales are in that legit 103 range, 104-ish. You have a couple up here at 110, a couple lower ones at 101, but this is moving towards a $105 elite trainer box at this point. The Mew continues to go. We're now over $400 at this point, and even today, you do have one lower sale here at 350. That must have just came in. But yesterday sales at 423, 414, 414, $400. So holding strong there. Charizard, same thing. We saw this move up into the 160s and then saw another move up into that 220 range. And that's kind of where it's holding at this point. So again, crazy gains on the Paldean Fates boxes here. Now, moving into Crown Zenith, this is one that I obviously love. I have a lot of Crown Zenith. I've continued to buy Crown Zenith. I've been buying some booster bundles. I have over a case of ETBs still, lots of tins. Big fan of the set. This was sitting around $100, and I really didn't think it was going to make another move up. And, if we go back to the 3 month chart, that was early February, right? Like the first, the second, so over a week ago, sitting around $100. We're now over $110, guys, if you go look at recent sales. It's basically selling every day, all day, $112. And you have a couple lower ones here around 110. I'm trying to find a lower one than that. 108 has been the lowest on the front page. Highest is, I don't know, like 112, 114, 115, but it's selling legit 110, 112 a box at this point. So again, another like 9-10% move over the past week on Crown Zenith sealed ETBs. Just wild growth, right? Like you look at this graph over the past year, how much the set was printed. And again, the success of Crown Zenith just tells me that it doesn't matter how much they print of Prismatic Evolutions, which we'll look at here in a bit, but it doesn't matter just because they printed Crown Zenith into the ground. And you can still find restocks of the Sea and Sky boxes at Sam's Club and stuff, and everyone still wants to open this. Now again, Crown Zenith is probably a bit more fun to open than something like Prismatic, but Prismatic probably has better cards, so I think just that these sets are similar in some ways. They're obviously different in other ways, but I have so much confidence Prismatic now, but we'll touch on that probably in another video and go deeper into it. But some of the cards in Crown Zenith that have made huge moves. Uh, the Deoxys VMAX, this was like a $10-15 card for most of last year. And then early January, sitting around $20, it's made a massive move up into the mid 40s over the past month and a half. You even have some sales here over $50 from today, actually. So crazy there. Darkrai V-Star, same thing. And you're going to see a trend. A lot of these V-Star cards have made big moves. Again, like early January, sitting around $20, $25. Now sitting over $40, I think, most recent sales. You have a couple lower ones here, $34, but 45, 45, 45, 45. So pretty consistently in that range. Outside of that, we do have a couple more cards. The Leafeon V-Star has reached its 1 year high. It's actually broken through. It was back in that $40, $45 range in May. Glaceon V-Star, same thing. This was again another $45 card. Now sitting at around 47. The Deoxys V-Star, not the VMAX, this one as well has broken through its 1 year high, sitting around $20. The Suicune, the Raikou, and the Entei have all seen really good gains as well over the past couple months. So again, Crown Zenith is just so deep, but it is surprising to me that we've seen another like 9-10% move on the sealed product over the past month. This set, or not even the past month, just the past week, this set just continues to go and outperform all the expectations I had for it. So that's a really good thing to see. And finally, we're going to talk about Prismatic Evolutions. Obviously, the ETBs are starting to rebound. I made a video over a week ago saying that this was going to happen. I figured that $100 was going to be near the low. If you look today, boxes are selling. Lots of boxes. This whole first page is sales from today, February 9th. And a lot of them are around that $120 price point. You do have a couple lower ones around $100, $105. These are more the exception right now. Most boxes are selling in that 118 to 120 range that you can see right here. So that's basically what, a 20% move over the past week on this box. I really think that if we don't see more ETBs, these could move up into that 150, 160 range, maybe even higher over the next month or two. And obviously the booster bundles, once those come out in March, I imagine we're going to see a lot of the singles go down and maybe some of the ancillary products take a hit. But if we don't get more ETBs, I think this is going to do something very similar to 151, where we didn't see a lot of the ETBs and they just continue to climb. Even in a bear market, they went from low 50s to around that 80-ish dollar, $90 price point before the market started going quite crazy. And again, the top cards right now are indeed holding up. So the Umbreon EX, I did say this came down a little bit, but if you look at most recent sales from today, 1550, 1625, 1700 yesterday, 1600, 1650. It's still selling in that $1,500-$1,600 range. Sure, maybe you can find them a little bit cheaper on eBay, but on TCG Player, they're selling consistently at that price point. The Sylveon EX as well is holding strong around that $500 range. You do have the most recent sales a bit lower, 450, 450. But from yesterday as well, $600 on a couple sales, another 450, 600. So it's probably averaging out around that $500 range. The Espeon is continuing to go up, holding strong around that $400 price point on most recent sales, maybe slightly below it. This is the surprising one though. The Ceruledge EX, which was sitting around $150 a couple weeks after release, is now over $200, guys. Most recent sale from today, $250. You can see it right there. A light plate, $240, $280, $280. This might break through and be a $300 card. It seems like people are trying to pump this one right now. Again, I actually do like this artwork. I have no idea what I'm looking at half the time, but just the way that the colors are shaped together, and it's kind of abstract almost in a sense to me, but it looks really good. I like it. This one's holding up strong. And then finally, the Roaring Moon EX, which is a Shinji Kenda artwork, obviously holding strong around that 170 price point. You do have a couple sales actually closer to $200, 175, 173, 175 again. So yeah, mainly in that 170-ish range. And again, that's probably a good sign for something like a Paradox Pokemon, just to be able to have at least some level of value. I know that it's Shinji Kanda, so that's probably part of the reason the artwork is so expensive, but I think the Raging Bolt is still over $100 and holding in that range. The Palafin is still holding that $80 range as well. So a lot of the singles are indeed holding up, and it's definitely a good sign to see that the ETBs are rebounding like 20% over the next or over the past like week and a half, 2 weeks. And guys, to me, this just tells me that this market was a lot stronger than I thought it was. I really thought a lot of these products, especially even some of these specialty sets we were going to see, start going sideways for a couple months. People might even start taking profits on them. But these things are continuing to go. A lot of the SV booster boxes are continuing to climb as well, and we're going to probably talk about that tomorrow in a video. So it's just crazy. The market right now is continuing to, show signs of, strength, resilience, and it's going to be interesting the rest of 2025. So that's all I wanted to talk about in this video. If you got some value out of it, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video. It helps out a lot. With that said, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.